Welcome to a Bible quiz video. Thank you for clicking this video today. My name is Lachlan. I'll be your host, going through all of the questions and the answers from this quiz centered around the Bible. So let's see how many you can get right. Question number 1 for us today is, which book ends with, "And Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David"? Is it Ruth, Matthew, or Luke? The correct answer is Ruth, and in Ruth 4 verse 22 we read, "Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David." Question number 2, which disciple said to Jesus, "Show us the Father, and we will be satisfied"? Was it James, Peter, or Philip? The correct answer is Philip, and in John 4 verse 8 we read, "Philip said, 'Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us.'" Question number 3, what was the name of the city Lot ran to as he and his daughters fled burning Sodom? Was it Damascus, Zor, or El Paran? The correct answer is Zor. In Genesis 19 verse 20-22 we read, "Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it, then my life will be spared. Very well, I will grant this request too, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it," and that is why the town was called Zor. Question number 4. How many changes of clothing did Samson promise the Philistines if they were able to solve his riddle? Was it 100, 10, or 30? Correct answer is 30. In Judges 14 verse 12 we read, "Let me tell you a riddle," Samson said to them. "If you can give me the answer within the 7 days of this feast, I will give 30 sets of clothes." Question number 5. During his ministry, Jesus was amazed by whose faith? Was it faith of John the Baptist, faith of children, or faith of the Roman centurion? The correct answer is faith of the Roman centurion. In Matthew 8 verse 10 we read, "The centurion replied, 'Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed.' When Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said, 'Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith.'" Question number 6. This child was hidden away from Athaliah, his murderous grandmother, and later became king. Was it Jeconiah, Joash, or Jeroboam? The correct answer is Joash, and in 2 Kings 11 1-2 we read, "When Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw her son was dead, she proceeded to destroy the whole royal family. But they took Joash, son of Ahaziah, and put him and his nurse in a bedroom to hide him from Athaliah." Question number 7. Who were the young pastors Paul gave advice for their personal lives in their churches? Was it Philemon and Onesimus, Timothy and Titus, or Luke and Silas? Correct answer is Timothy and Titus. In 1 Timothy 3 verse 8 we read, "Stop drinking only water and use a little wine because of your stomach and your frequent illness." Titus 1 and 4 it says, "The reason I left you in Crete was so you might put in order what was left unfinished." Question number 8. Which book declares, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he"? Is it Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, or Songs of Solomon? Correct answer is Proverbs. In Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Question 9. The younger daughter of Lot slept with his father and birthed the lineage of which people? The Jebusites, the Ammonites, or the Canaanites? Correct answer is the Ammonites. In Genesis 19 verse 35-38 we read, "And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and the younger also bore a son, and called him Ben-Ammi, the father of the children of the Ammonites." Question number 10. Who told Herod about the prophecy concerning where Jesus would be born? Was it the Magi, an angel, or the chief priests? Correct answer is the chief priests, and in Matthew 2 verse 4, when he, Herod, had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. Question number 11. Rebecca's nurse who died and was buried under an oak below Bethel was called blank. Is that blank Rhoda, Deborah, or Bilhah? Correct answer is Deborah. In Genesis 38 verse 5 we read, Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried under the oak outside Bethel, so it was named Elon Bakath. Question number 12. Who told Paul of a Jewish plot to kill him and then Paul told the centurion? Was it Festus, his nephew, or Barnabas? Correct answer was his nephew, and in Acts 23 verse 16 and 17 we read, But when the son of Paul's sister heard of this plot, he went into the barracks and told Paul. Then Paul called one of the centurions and said, Take this young man to the commander, he has something to tell him. Question number 13. Who built the Ark of the Covenant? Was it Bezalel, Solomon, or Moses? The correct answer is Bezalel. And in Exodus 31 verse 1 to 7 we read, Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I have chosen Bezalel and have filled him with the Spirit of God with all kinds of skills to make the tent of meeting, the Ark of the Covenant law with the atonement cover on it, and all the other furnishings. Question number 14. Which two female co-workers did Paul appeal to reconcile for the sake of the gospel? Was it Priscilla and Lydius, Tryphosa and Tryphena, or Euodia and Syntyche? Correct answer is Euodia and Syntyche, and in Philippians 4 verse 2 and 3 it says, I plead with Euodia and I plead with Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord, and I ask you, my true companion, help these women since they have contended at my side in the cause of the gospel. Question number 15. Which Psalms exhorts brethren to dwell in harmony? Is it Psalm 23, Psalm 33, or Psalm 133? Correct answer is Psalm 133, and in Psalm 133 verse 1 we read, How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Question number 16. Who lied to the Holy Spirit and an apostle died and with her husband? Was it Abigail, Sapphira, or Jezebel? Correct answer is Sapphira. In Acts 5:1-3 we read, Now man and Ananias together with his wife Sapphira also sold a piece of property. With his wife's full knowledge he kept back part of the money for himself, but brought the rest, put it at the apostles' feet. Then Peter said, Ananias, how is it that Satan has filled your heart, that you have lied to the Holy Spirit and have kept yourself some of the money you received for the land? Question number 17. What did God show Abraham to encourage him on how mighty his descendants would be? Was it stars in the sky, birds of the air, or the armies of heaven? Correct answer is stars in the sky, and in Genesis 15 verse 5 we read, He, God, took him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. Question number 18. Rebekah, Isaac's bride, was the daughter of blank and a sister to blank. Are those blanks Kohath and Mattanah, Bethuel and Laban, or Caleb and Talmah? Correct answer is Bethuel and Laban. In Genesis 25 verse 20 we read, And Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel from Padan Aram and sister of Laban the Aramean. Question number 19. What time was considered the hour of prayer in the temple? Was it the 12th hour, the 3rd hour, or the 9th hour? Correct answer is the 9th hour, and in Acts chapter 3 verse 1 we read, One day Peter and John were going up to the temple at the time of prayer at 3 in the afternoon. Question number 20. Who was mocked because he was bold? Was it Elisha, Elijah, or Paul? Correct answer is Elisha, and in 2 Kings 2 verse 23 we read, Then Elisha went up from Jericho to Bethel, and on the way young boys came out of the city and mocked him and said, Go up, you bald head, go up, you bald head. Question number 21. 6 months after the angel Gabriel had spoken to Zechariah, where was he sent? Was it Judea, Nazareth, or Bethlehem? Correct answer is Nazareth, and in Luke 1 verse 26 it says, In the 6 months of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee. Question 22. A blank woman builds her house, but a foolish woman tears her down. Is the blank virtuous, wise, or wealthy? Correct correct answer is wise, and in Proverbs 14 verse 1 we read, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears her down." Question number 23. Whom did Jesus describe as swallowing a camel but straining a gnat? Was it prostitutes, tax collectors, or scribes and Pharisees? Correct answer is scribes and Pharisees, and in Matthew 23 verse 23 and 24 we read, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites, you blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel." Question number 24. Which direction did Elisha direct the king of Israel to shoot an arrow? Was it eastwards, westwards, or northwards? The correct answer is eastwards, and in 2 Kings 13 verse 16-17 we read, "Take the bow in your hands," he said to the king of Israel. Elisha put his hands on the king's hands. "Open the east window," he said, and he opened it. "Shoot," Elisha said, and he shot. "The Lord's arrow of victory, the arrow of victory over Aram," Elisha declared. Question number 25. What did God tell Paul after he asked him 3 times to take away the thorn in his flesh? Was it "all is well," "my grace is sufficient," or "have faith"? The correct answer is "my grace is sufficient." In 2 Corinthians 12 verse 8 and 9 we read, "3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, my power is made perfect in weakness.'" Question number 26. Gehazi was a servant to which prophet? Was it Elijah, Elisha, or Jeremiah? Correct answer is Elisha. In 2 Kings 5 verse 20 we read, "Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said to himself, 'My master was too easy on Naaman, this Aramean, by not accepting from him what he bought. Surely as the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something from him.'" Question number 27. Whose wife named her baby Ichabod, saying, "The glory of the Lord has departed Israel"? Was it Saul's, Phinehas's, or Eli's? The correct answer is Phinehas, and in 1 Samuel 4 verse 19-21 we read, "The wife of Phinehas was pregnant and near the time of delivery. When she heard the news, the ark of God has been captured, she went into labor and gave birth, but was overcome by a labor pain. She named the boy Ichabod, saying, 'The glory has departed from Israel because of the capture of the ark of God and the deaths of her father-in-law and her husband.'" Question number 28. In Beersheba, Abraham made a covenant with Abimelech and planted a tree. What type of tree was it? Tamarisk, oak, or acacia? Correct answer is tamarisk, and in Genesis 21 verse 32-33 we read, "After a treaty had been made at Beersheba, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines, and Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of the Lord, the eternal God." Question number 29. Which church did Apostle Paul refer to as bewitched because they went back to living under the law? Was it Ephesians, Galatians, or Thessalonians? Correct answer is Galatians. In Galatians 3 verse 1 and 2 we read, "You foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Before your very eyes Jesus Christ was clearly portrayed as crucified. Did you receive the Spirit by the works of the law or by believing what you heard?" Question number 30. As this man handed wine to the king whom he served, the king noticed he was sad. Who was he? Was it Joseph, Ezra, or Nehemiah? Correct answer is Nehemiah, and in Nehemiah 2 verse 1 and 2 we read, "In the year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was bought for him, I took the wine, gave it to the king. I had not been sad in his presence before, so the king asked, 'Why does your face look so sad when you're not ill? This can be nothing but sadness of heart.'" Question number 31. Paul encouraged the Corinthians, saying, "We have this treasure in blank vessels." Is it golden, silver, or earthen? Correct answer is earthen. In 2 Corinthians 4 verse 7 we read, "For we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us." Question number 32. What did Delilah use on her first attempt to bind Samson? Was it 7 braided robes, 7 leather belts, or 7 fresh bowstrings? The correct answer is 7 fresh bowstrings, and in Judges 16 verse 6 and 7 we read, "So Delilah said to Samson, 'Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued.' Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Question number 33. What was the basis of the disagreement between Paul and Barnabas in Antioch? Was it they sailed to Rome, Mark accompany them, or Mark be circumcised? Correct answer is Mark accompanied them, and in Acts 15 verse 37 to 39 we read, Barnabas wanted to take John, also called Mark, with them, but Paul did not think it was wise to take him, because he had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in the work. They had such a sharp disagreement they parted company. Question number 34. Who was the first polygamist in the Bible? Was it Lamech, Cain, or Abraham? Correct answer was Lamech, and in Genesis 4 verse 19 we read, Lamech married 2 women, one named Ada and the other Zillah. Question number 35. What did the prodigal son encounter in the far-off city that made him think of home? Was it sickness, famine, or earthquake? Correct answer is famine, and in Luke 15 verse 14 we read, after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country. He was lonely and began to be in need. Question number 36. Which judge took down his father's altar to Baal at the night? Was it Samson, Barak, or Gideon? Correct answer is Gideon. In Judges 6 verse 25-27 we read, that same night the Lord said to him, take the second bull from your father's herd, the one 7 years old, tear down your father's altar to Baal. So Gideon took 10 of his servants, did as the Lord told him, but because he was afraid of the family and the townspeople, he did it at night rather than in the daytime. Question number 37. Which disciples did Jesus refer to as the sons of thunder? Was it James and John, Peter and Andrew, or Philip and Judas? The correct answer is James and John, and in Mark 3 verse 17 we read, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, to them he, Jesus, gave the name Boanerges, meaning sons of thunder. Question number 38. Which of Joseph's brothers suggested they sell him to the Ishmaelites? Was it Judah, Reuben, or Simeon? Correct answer is Judah. In Genesis 37 verse 26-27 we read, so Judah said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. And his brothers agreed. Question number 39. James encouraged the members of the church to pray when afflicted and when merry to blank. Is that blank to drink wine, to dance to the Lord, or to sing psalms? The correct answer is sing psalms, and in James 5 verse 13 we read, is anyone among you in trouble? Let them pray. Is anyone happy? Let them sing psalms. Question number 40. Who was the prophet who had sons who were greedy and took bribes? Was it Hosea, Samuel, or Amos? Correct answer is Samuel. In 1 Samuel 8 verse 1 and 3 we read, when Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders, but his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. Great job, you have made it to the end of the quiz. Let us know how many questions you got right in the comments below, and make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss another video when it comes out.